check out this story. Adam, I don't think you know what this is.
I have no idea.
TikTok's Skullbreaker Challenge lands New Jersey boy 13 in hospital, 2 charged.
What?
Let me explain to you.
Skullbreaker. Oh my gosh. I kind of go. Just.
Well, let me first say something. Look, I'm an old man. All right, I'm almost 34. My birthday's in a week. Our birthdays are basically like a day apart.
Yeah, we actually are.
So maybe I don't understand the kids these days. It's probably true, and I can't speak for them. And I remember when I was younger, and they would say things about what we were doing. They'd make things up, and we'd be like, "No one's doing that. You're insane. You're making that up."
Yeah.
So now we're here. We heard about Tide Pods. Like literally, no one was eating Tide Pods. There was one story where a kid put it in his mouth as a joke, and it broke because liquid breaks it, and then it caused him to. He rapidly inhaled a little bit, and it burned his lungs and his throat.
Ooh. Yep.
Don't be dumb and put a Tide Pod in your mouth, you morons.
Right, exactly.
But he wasn't intending to eat it. He thought it was going to be funny and film it. So the Skullbreaker Challenge, the media purports, because it might be like a fringe thing that only a couple people have done, and they're claiming is like an epidemic. So here's what happens. You get an unsuspecting rube, and you tell them to stand in the middle and say, all 3 of us are going to take a picture. We all jump in the air, and then so-and-so's going to take a picture. And you go 1, 2, 3, and as soon as they jump, you kick their feet out so they flip over and land on their back.
That's so messed up.
And this kid cracked his skull, had a seizure, and they arrested the other kids. So I've actually got another story about this because it's not the first time it's happened.
They should be arrested. They should be charged.
Should. Check
That's
it out.
Messed up.
So here's a photo. This kid's like, man, dude, he had a seizure.
Like, what are those? Your friends? Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, but kids are dumb, dude. Kids. So let me qualify that statement.
Oh my gosh.
Kids are ignorant.
There it is.
Kids are ignorant.
Yes.
Humans typically have the same capability to learn and to understand and to know things.
Yeah.
But there's so much they don't know, and so they're like, you know the knockout game?
No, but is it just like this?
Not really. The knockout game is where you run up to someone and knock them out like a random stranger. And people were doing this. They would run up full speed and just crack someone in the skull, a random person, old people. Let me tell you, man.
That's terrible.
Let me tell you a warning. Let me tell you all a story. This is something I learned when I was a little kid. There was a guy my mom had worked with, and apparently they were at a business gathering for her company. There was a guy and his wife, and this other guy who was like this suave, Rico Suave, kind of like, hey, what's up, was hitting on the wife. And so the husband got angry. They got into a fight. The Suave guy punched him in the face. He fell back, hit his head, and died. And guess who got charged with murder and went to prison? The guy who was like, I just threw a punch. I didn't know. It doesn't matter, dude. People don't realize because they think they can watch a movie and like knock someone out. You could punch someone in the forehead and they could die.
You're right.
You could kick someone and they can hit their head and die. You don't want to play those games. I will also add, humans are more resilient than people give them credit for.
True.
Like they think, people are delicate and they'll fall over and die. Nah, you'll be okay sometimes.
But there are those people out there that will crack their head and have a seizure.
Little kid.
And not trust anyone
for
years and years and years.
Yeah. Let's read this. They say, 2 New Jersey students face criminal charges after their classmate was seriously injured during a Skullbreaker Challenge, a dangerous game that involves a person being tricked into jumping in the air as someone else kicks their feet from under them. The challenge has been recorded on video and shared on social media platforms such as TikTok. Stacy Shanker of Cherry Hill. Whoa, this is like close to us.
Yeah, wow.
Well, that's really close. That's like that's ridiculously close.
Yeah.
Said she and her husband had never heard of the game until it sent their 13-year-old son to the hospital in January with a major concussion. She told NBC in a phone interview Tuesday that she received a call from her son's middle school in Cherry Hill on January 24th informing her that the 7th grader had been injured. By the time she arrived at the school roughly 20 minutes later, Shanker said her son was non-responsive and an ambulance had been called. First responders told her the boy had suffered a seizure, she said. That kid's going to have permanent brain damage, most likely.
Yeah.
People don't get it, man. I've growing up skateboarding, a lot of people, they'll talk to you about the importance of helmets, and skateboarders don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And there are certain circumstances where no matter how good you think you are, you wear a helmet, like vert skating, mega ramp stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You certainly do. A lot of street skating you don't because it's
low to the ground.
You don't want to.
You're not getting that whiplash. There's some tricks though that it's risky.
People hit their heads, but it's an issue of altering your center of gravity, and it's. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think.
But there's always a chance. And you can punch someone and they can die. You can fall off your skateboard and also die in the same sense.
Yeah.
Don't say it like that. It's the
truth.
No,
but here's the thing. The thing about skateboarding is that you earn your way to that level.
That's true.
don't just jump on a board and try jumping off a building.
Okay, you got a point. Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to put on
the people
like
doing
full
the
armor.
crazy stuff know what
Are
they're
trained
doing.
experts. You know what I mean?
Well, what's up with these kids nowadays that think that they can just
Get
do
off
that?
my lawn.
That and also that this kind of stuff is funny, hurting people. You know?
Oh, come on. Well,
No. Like ridiculousness, Rob Dyrdek's show.
Yeah.
Like half of the show, I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Yep.
This isn't funny to me. I feel bad for that person. They are seriously hurting.
didn't you ever watch Jackass or CKY?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Bam Margera?
That's them doing it to themselves. That's different.
Right.
All of when it's an accident or someone that doesn't know that they're involved, that's not funny to me. That just angers me and
consent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jackass all had consent.
It was them
when
they
they
were
were
all
running and jumping off buildings and jumping in whatever they were doing.
When they would get a pie in the face, it was because they knew the rules of the game they played with each other.
Exactly.
And they didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But
they didn't know
were
what
all
to
in on it.
expect, but they always expected something to happen, guaranteed.
Right. Yeah, this is different.
And it
This is
always happens.
some dumb kid, and they were like, dude, we're going to knock him on his
Oh,
back.
this is going to be so funny. We're going to get so many likes.
Yep, you got
That's all it was.
That's why
We're
going to
get internet
check
famous.
Check this out. Well, actually, so this is a post from the New York Post. Skullbreaker challenge going viral on TikTok could be fatal, doctors warn. I want to come back to this because I want to make a point where they talk about the kids who were charged. I want to get where do they say what they were charged? They got 3rd degree something or other. Let me type it in. There we go. The 2 Cherry Hill students accused of injuring Schenker's son have been charged with 3rd degree aggravated assault and 3rd degree endangering an injured victim, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office told NBC News on Tuesday. So here's the thing.
Good.
But what really?
Yes, because it sets a precedence for the other people that do this
Kids
kind of
don't.
stuff.
Nah, I don't believe in the setting an example on someone who is dumb. Like, is it really going to help these kids or help anyone else because you set an example? I don't know what the solution is, man.
I don't know. What do you just let them go and be like, don't do it again?
Maybe. Dude, what's our goal here?
I mean,
these kids?
I'm not saying that they need to be that it needs to stick and be on their permanent record forever. But
they're going to prison, dude.
Well, I mean,
aggravated assault. I'm pretty sure it's a
13,
felony.
They're 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
they're not going to go to prison.
Well, they'll go to juvie, I guess. It depends on what they do.
They're not going to go to juvie. This sounds like it's near us. It's probably
aggravated
a
assault?
school of white people.
Aggravated assault is. I'm pretty sure it's a felony.
Privilege is going to shine through here, annoyingly.
Right.
But
That I agree with.
They're not going to go to prison. It's going to get reduced to probation, and they're going to have to do like 150 hours of community service.
But I don't think that's going to teach them anything, and I don't think it's going to teach anyone else anything. So I don't know.
Why are you kids so crazy? I don't understand. I know that's not our audience, but man, I don't get this at all. Hurting people is not funny.
What do you think's going to happen when someone jumps in the air and you make them fall into their neck?
Yeah,
and
then they get paralyzed. You know, they break their spine. Like that.
Look at this. This is nuts, dude. This is not the first time. That story wasn't the first time it had happened. Look at this. This is, this is talking about the fatality potential of the Skullbreaker challenge. But here you can see, like, they're all laughing, and this dude's like so writhing in pain.
Yeah, I would never be friends with someone who did that to me.
I'd
be like, you're cut off from my life. I will never speak to you again. That's messed up.
You know what I think this is,
though? You hurt
though?
me physically. No. I cut you off.
I think this is a similar phenomenon to what's driving people insane on social media and making them, like, ultra woke social justice lunatics.
Okay.
It's the same as this. It's one-upsmanship.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, a kid flicks someone ear and films it and laughs, and everyone laughs. So the next person smacks him in the face. The next, kid kicks him in the balls.
And then the next one hits him over the head with a chair.
Yep. And it just keeps escalating. Now, obviously, that's, bit of an exaggeration. But these kids, you know what, man? It's because they see it on social media, and they're like, wow, that's really funny. I want to do that. I want to hurt someone because I want to get those clicks. So I've actually got another story that I was thinking of saving for later, but I think it actually goes in line with why these kids are doing these things. There's a dude. I don't know exactly how much of this we can show without getting in trouble. Joker impersonator arrested after a Facebook Live broadcast. Here's a guy who thought it would be funny because, once again, it's an escalation of what people are doing on social media.
Right.
He dresses up like the Joker and walked around apparently saying he was going to start killing people.
And didn't
and
think he would get arrested for it? And he was streaming it live?
Dude, this is what people are doing nowadays.
But look at the smile on his face. That looks to me like he's thinking, I'm going to be seen on the internet.
Yep.
I'm going to be known.
Yep.
That's what that look is to me.
Likes.
So you remember...
Give me numbers.
That is frightening.
The Columbine attack?
Mm-hmm.
And they were motivated very much by that same fame. We're going to be on the news. They're going to talk about us.
Did they say that? They talked
said
about
that.
It? That's
they
the
wrote
reason?
that. Dylan Klebold wrote that in his journal.
Well, here's, for the record, I don't know your name, and I never want to.
Right. I will not look at your name.
But I don't know how you... It's not even about that. We've created a machine that churns this out.
This has gotten worse.
Even if it only goes to 100 people.
Yeah.
I went to VidCon, which is the big video conference. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but I remember hearing little kids talking as I was walking into the building.
Yeah.
And one kid goes, "How many subscribers do you have?" "I have 87. And the kid goes, 103. "You have 103 subscribers?" And that's how they view it. And I thought that's kind of cool to an extent. Like, these kids are learning how to be their own individual personality, which is good for individualism and entrepreneurship and stuff like that.
But it only applies to this online bubble world that
But it's
half
a
the time
point
is
system.
wrong.
It's a point system of attention.
Right.
And so people are desperate for this.
Well, they're not getting attention from their families anymore. It's all online, everything.
What do you think is going to happen to these people when they grow up and they're desperate to maintain those numbers? So, like, there's a phenomenon on YouTube where YouTubers get depressed when their views go down. Like, this literally, excuse me, this literally happens where someone will get like 1 million views on a video, and then the next day we'll get 700,000, and you'll see them go nuts about it. They'll be like, "What's going on? YouTube's broken." And it's like, sometimes you get less views. Sometimes your video's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are watching the Super Bowl and they're not watching your videos.
Right.
But it happens a lot. And a lot of YouTubers have talked about it where they're like, I started getting depressed when I wasn't getting enough views because infinite growth is impossible. There's a market cap for what you produce.
Right.
So what happens to these little kids? They grow up, they're doing these stupid things like Skullbreaker, getting all these likes, but there's a cap to it, man.
Yeah.
You can't get more likes than there are people. So eventually you're a 30-year-old guy being like, "I only got 58 million. And you're like shaking, like, "What's wrong? Why aren't I getting enough? I need more attention." And so then they're going to start snapping, going nuts. One of the things I think about with like why child actors and actresses go crazy all the time, it's kind of like this. If you're a little kid and everyone tells you the best, everyone tells you you're great, oh, you're so awesome, do this, now do this, you've got all this attention, you're on stage and everyone loves you, you grow up thinking that's the normal level of love. Now when you're older and things calm down because you're not the cute, famous kid anymore, now you're feeling like, even though you are well known, you're not getting that same level of attention. Now it feels like you're doing wrong, and you're probably getting, and they probably start getting depressed.
Yeah.
Very much so, like what happens to these people on social media. We're going to build a generation of addicted kids, and they're going to start doing crazy mother effing stuff.
Well, I mean,
you know what
this
I mean?
Skull Breaker challenge is
It's getting there.
This is getting to that crazy point where someone's going to get killed from this.
Oh, bro.
They will.
It's going to get worse.
I mean, he cracked his skull open already.
Yeah.
And had a
permanent
seizure.
brain damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hello, kids, you're hurting each other
I blame
now.
the parents. You know what I think, man? I think too many parents are like, the kids
It's hard
are
to blame
yelling in my ears.
everything. There's too much that's to blame. There's so many different
I just blame
things.
the parents.
Yeah, no. The kids are yelling in my ears. Give them a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Get them out of my hair.
Yep.
Absolute abdication of responsibility.
That's crazy.
I can't deny that. You're absolutely right.
I think that's probably it. And then
I mean, I'm looking at these two kids.
oh yeah, I'm gonna punch them.
They look entitled. They look. they think they can do whatever they want to do. Can you
Yeah.
pop this up so people know what I'm looking at here? Look at it. Look at these two kids.
Yeah, you're right.
You can see it. On the guy on the right is like, yeah, I just did that. I don't care
They're
at
laughing.
all. They're both laughing. They think it's hilarious. It's like, you guys have no idea that when you guys are in 20 years, you're going to be nobodies doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Itching to get that fame that
It's
they
not
now
that.
have. They
Like-
have it now. Look, we're talking about them. That's them on the screen.
And they're probably happy.
They
But
don't know we're on their
here's
show,
the
but
thing, man. It's about honor thy mother and thy father.
Mhm.
It's about understanding limits, boundaries. Parents are supposed to set those things.
Mhm.
They're supposed to tell you what you can and can't do to keep you safe and help give you a happy, healthy life.
People
They're
think
not doing
that's-
it.
It's like, oh no, the school will do that, right? The
Yep.
school will teach that.
Yeah,
And then
now what are they doing
I
in
have
Chicago?
friends that are teachers, and they're like, I hate
no way to do it.
every single student that has the parents that are like that, because they definitely know, they can tell immediately.
Dude.
If there's like a solid family that like the kid's like, hey, that kid's all right. Oh, look, his mom and dad just dropped him off. This kid is a total jerk that, Who knows?
Here's what I would do.
Many different.
If I was a teacher and if I was a teacher and I had a student who was like parents weren't disciplining him and stuff and he was acting up, I'd be like, bro, in my class, you can literally do whatever you want. Like, don't even worry about it, man. You want to come and you want to throw up airplanes? Like, do it to it, man. Let me know if you need anything. Do not care. I am not going to be that person in your life who's supposed to come in like your parents want me to do anything. Nah, man. Just don't step on my feet. I won't step on yours. How does that sound? And the kid's going to be like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to be like, yeah, good. Not my responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, but it's also.
You know what? If you did that though, I bet the kid would be like, oh man, I feel like I should try a little bit in this class.
It's not about that.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
It's about telling the kids straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to go to war. I'm not going to war with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here.
I'm not here to go to war with you. I'm here to teach the people that want to learn.
Yep.
Basically, yeah.
I think I'd be a good teacher because I'd be doing.
I think so too.
It would be crazy fun. We'd like spray liquid nitrogen on things and like shatter them and stuff. Just like weird stuff like that.
Your class would learn the weirdest things.
I would do tons of crazy stuff too. I like order pizza all the time.
I would go to your class.
Yeah, you would.
I'd be like, today's lesson is pepperoni.
You know what? Scratch that. I feel like I'm in your class every day.
Yeah, man.
I come down here and I'm like, so what's on the news? Inform me of things.
Here's the
Professor Poole.
I'd do crazy stuff. I'd be like, what do you guys want to do?
It's true. We
Like,
do fun stuff here.
Here are the things we're supposed to do, but let's try and figure out, because as long as we're all getting the grades and like everyone's cool, we can make this more relaxing. I think the problem with school is the parents want to pass off the kids and the teachers don't want to be involved at all. Instead of just being like, dude, just hang out with kids. I don't know. That sounds kind of fun.
It is.
Like teaching them how to skate and stuff, teaching them how to play music.
Teaching skateboarding is...
I mean, it's easy. I understand math is boring.
Well, nobody was in my class that didn't want to learn skateboarding. Well,
right.
there was actually one kid who looked at me and said, I don't want to be here. And I was like, wow, this is...
Parents
I'm in an interesting situation because I was like, what do you want to do? And they were like, I want to play guitar. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I had my guitar. We just jam right now. You know? It's like, I don't want to just force you to like learn skating.
But did his parents want him to or something?
His parents are like, here's a board. You should be a skater because skaters are cool.
And they're cool and they make money.
And he's like, I don't want to do this. It's like, why? Man, tell that to your parents.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell it to his parents. I was like, dude, you got to tell your parents.
Well, to an extent, I'll tell you what, to an extent, parents making their kids
brutal
play sports and do music and stuff, even if they don't want to, is still a really good thing.
True.
I'll tell you what, man.
You got to try all the different things. I get that. But if you don't want to do something, though, it's like skateboarding. You can get hurt. Like, I can understand you can get hurt. But it can teach you things. I know your whole thing about it. Listen.
I know a lot of people whose parents made them to do things like play guitar, play violin.
Yeah.
And now that they're in their 30s, they're like, man, I'm so glad my parents did that.
Okay.
Like, I know people who learn Spanish.
Yeah, sure, it works.
And they're like, man, I'm so glad my parents made me learn Spanish.
But were those, like, really solid families?
I wouldn't call them really solid.
Oh, well,
regular.
Okay, not really solid, but together, normal families, you'd say?
Not the way you'd... well, listen.
This wasn't. This kid was not. He had rich... It's from the southeast Manhattan. You know, they lived in a penthouse. He was like, he did everything. He had all the different classes of every single different thing. And they're like, nope, you got to do skateboarding too. When he was already...
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah?
Because you got to... Look...
Well, he was miserable. And it was really tough to teach someone who didn't want to learn.
Of course. I think the challenge is... I would not wish growing up rich on anyone. I would not do it.
Okay.
Because with all due respect to the people I know, there are a lot of people I know who grew up rich who I would consider to be developmentally malformed.
Okay.
And like they don't understand simple concepts like I'll give you an example. Asking someone if they want to spend a weekend in Switzerland with you is like so horribly out of touch.
Yeah, I agree.
And then asking your mail clerk why they can't afford to fly to Switzerland, I'm like, dude, you have no idea how the world works when you grow up in these weird isolated world. You know what I mean?
Totally true. Yeah, the average person, it's like to go to Switzerland, you got to save $3,000 and plan
$3,000 6 months saving. Yeah.
But I mean, no, and then you break your foot and you go to the hospital and you're like, so much for Switzerland.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know people, and I'm not trying to be mean, who literally, I was like, it was like a long time ago, who've been like, hey, you want to come to Europe with us? And I was like, what? Europe? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding? And they were like, what do you mean?
You're a simpleton.
No, they weren't mean.
Excuse us.
These are my friends. They were just like, we're gonna go to Switzerland. And I was like, dude, like, I'm like paying $200 a month to sleep on a couch, right? Well, I don't have any money for this.
You want to pay for me?
But it's like when you grow up without having to work hard.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, maybe.
Then you start kicking out your friends thinking it's funny.
Well, This is when parents don't teach kids what the limits are.
There's a separation.
And it's crazy.
Like I knew the few rich families that I know, the people my age now, they had nannies that raised them.
I got a good point.
Raise them.
When you want to know who did drugs? Which class of people did drugs when I was growing up?
The rich people.
All of them.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
Every
the
single
poor
one.
people and the rich people.
Yeah.
Like, well, when I went to New York, it was like I never really saw it until I got into the clubs and saw the VIP booth and got into the VIP booth just by knowing people. And then, boom, I finally started seeing drugs.
I will mention this, though. Like, in Chicago, when I was growing up, it was notorious that it was the suburb kids who always had the craziest drugs. And the poor kids had King Cobra 40s for like $1 from the liquor store.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody was doing something nuts. Mm-hmm. But the suburb kids were the ones who were like throwing crazy parties because they had the money to do it. Their parents would be like, here's your allowance, here's money, or whatever they were doing.
We're going to be gone for the weekend, long weekend.
And now where are these kids? My generation?
Where are they?
Socialists. Like asking the government to pay for everything.
Yep.
Like, why can't you pay for this for me? It's like, well, you have to work for things. No, I don't. You do.
Well, why don't you just go to jail?
Right.
Yes.
That is
where they'll take care of everything
great
for you.
Thing I learned earlier.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., sometimes an hour or two. And we do have a full live recorded version of the show that includes a lot of comments and smaller segments you probably don't see. If you want to check that out, you can watch live at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, or become a member of this channel. And for $5 a month, you get full access to all of the recorded podcasts. Every day after the show, we make them available in the community section of this YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and stick around for more segments and more shows Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all in the next show.